Hello, I'm Amanda Hocking, and this is Squeaklin Monroe, who's once again crashing my videos because she meows outside the office door until I let her in. So I'm back again with a video and my cat. Since it's Pride Month, I wanted to do a little video where I talk about some of the LGBTQ characters that I have in my books. All of my books do feature LGBT characters, and I've talked about it before, how I was initially a little hesitant to be very explicit in my writing, but as time has gone on, both thanks to many different things, I am now very explicit in my books about the sexual orientation of my characters. The reason that I do that is because I think that it's important. I think the world is full of LGBT characters. I think it's full of people who are not characters. And I think it's important that the representation is there. For so long, media really pretended they didn't exist or did like lame little like nudges towards it, but didn't actually have clear representation. And I think especially when writing books for young adults, it's important that they're able to see themselves and to put words to their feelings and to be able to, you know, to understand and have a happy life. I also am very a staunch believer in that love is love, and it doesn't really matter who you're like sexually attracted to or what your gender is, as long as you are happy and kind. I don't care, and I don't think other people should either. For me personally, I am bisexual, and it was a long road to kind of figuring that out. I've had crushes on girls my whole life, but I also was attracted to boys, and I very much internalized a lot of biphobia and misogyny and different things, and thought, you know, it was just like nothing, and it didn't really matter. But being able to contextualize and look back at things, it's like, oh, that's what that was. That's why I felt so intensely weird about her and possessive about her. That's, all right, no, that puts some stuff together there. I am married to a man, but I also believe that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you're with or not with. You don't have to be in a poly relationship or in any kind of relationship to be gay. Or to be gay or bi or whatever it is. It's what your attraction is, and it doesn't really matter what your relationship status is. It's kind of irrelevant because you're attracted to people. I mean, just because I can't, you know, date Chris Hemsworth does not mean that I'm not attracted to him. You know what I mean? It doesn't change the attraction just because, you know, we're not going to run off together and get married. Most people that I find attractive, I'm not going to run off and marry, but it doesn't change anything. So now I'm going to give you a little crash course on some of the gay characters in my books. I don't think anything I'm saying will be a spoiler, so I'm not going to do a spoiler warning on here. So yeah. I've got two types of characters that are in my books. Explicit, where I say, you know, they're gay, and implicit, where I kind of implied and thought they were, but for for whatever reason, I'll probably address it. I did not explicitly put it in the text. So I'm going to tell you both, but I think it's important for representation that it is explicit and it's not just implied. So that is something that I try to do, but sometimes I just don't know how to tell a character, like there isn't a good spot for it, and other times I just didn't have the right word for it, I guess. I don't know. So I'm going to go through my theories and books just like in the order of which they're published, because it's the easiest way to do it. So I'll start with the My Blood Approved series. In that one, Alice's younger brother, Milo, is explicitly gay, and he eventually has a serious boyfriend. There's also Olivia, is openly a lesbian. She runs the vampire club. And I think vampires also, like in general, I feel like most vampires are like bi or whatever, but that is implied representation, because I kind of feel like they do. Like all vampires, I think, should canonically be bi, or pan, or whatever term you're more comfortable with, but so that's implicit, I think, is it. But then people like, obviously, Milo and Olivia have a preference more towards one gender or the other. Just stop. My cat is like, I've got this like, little stool thing, and she's sitting in it, and she's sometimes biting stuff. So if you see me like, or she does anything, sometimes it's her hiding down there being a pill. So let's go through the Trill Saga. So there's 9 books altogether in the Trill Saga, and I'm going to do each like individual. Well, I'll just go through the whole thing. General Trill Saga. There is Toe, who is gay, and he was originally implicit, but he is now very much explicit, and he has a very serious relationship with another character who's obviously gay. And that's it for the first book. For the first series in the canon. Well, Amber is a lesbian, but that comes out in the canon chronicles. And while she is featured in the Trill book, she's young. There's no place for it to come out in there, so you don't know reading that book that she is a lesbian. But then you do find out in later books. And so she also has a girlfriend, and her girlfriend is a lesbian. So for the Amti origins, you'll have again, Tobe is in that a little bit, and so you have him. There's also Ula's roommate, Dagny, is asexual, and another character, Sumi, is trans. That one was my first openly trans character that I've written. I'm always kind of nervous because I'm afraid that I'll like get the representation wrong. But I feel like I need to try and get it right, and I'd rather just kind of try and make mistakes than do nothing. And I don't know if I'm going to get it right, but we'll just kind of stumble forward through it. The Water Song series, Lexi was kind of openly bisexual. She definitely showed attraction to both men and women throughout the book. No, Lydia was a lesbian, I think. No, I think Lydia's pansexual. But I think it was implied. I think that's just in my head canon, not necessarily explicit in the text, because there wasn't a place for it. But Lydia is, yeah, I think that makes most sense. Freaks. That one had multiple different characters of different orientations. Luca and his boyfriend Tim were both gay. I also believe that there was intersex characters there. That one's a lot more implied, but it is not explicit. Like, I think Betty Bates is probably intersex, and I also think, given the nature of the traveling carnival, there's going to be more people there who do have different gender identities. I think because part of what Gideon did was attract people who couldn't find places anywhere else, and it was either because they had been shunned from society for having powers they couldn't control, like Roxy and himself, or because they are gay. They're still in the 80s, they were shoved very much, and especially during the AIDS thing, there was kind of a lot of different stuff going on. But so yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people with a lot of orientations there. But again, explicitly in the text, the only ones that I think I had were Luca and Tim, and Betty's implied, but not overtly stated. Between the Blade and the Heart was my first openly bisexual main character. And that is, Malin was bisexual, and she's had boyfriends and girlfriends, and it's just kind of accepted as part of the world. I actually don't think I used the word bisexual in it because I wasn't sure if I wanted her to be bi or pan. I've eventually used bisexual because that's the word that I use for myself, and it's the word I'm most comfortable with. But it really does mean that I'm attracted to other genders. Like, I've been attracted to people who are NB and stuff like that, so then it's, whatever. But the moral of the story is that Malin is bi, and then her ex-girlfriend Quinn is a lesbian. I think that Velasquez's bi or a lesbian. I don't remember which one for sure off the top of my head, but she's definitely part of she's an L or a B or P. Oh, I forgot the Hollows. So going back to the Hollows, I totally forgot the Hollows. The Hollows, I don't think any characters are overtly. Everyone is implied, except in the comic books, I do think because there was a comic book adaptation, and I do think they canonically said that Blue was gay, but he's implied gay to me in the books, and then Surge in the second one is asexual, but again, that's implied. I didn't know exactly how to put it in the text, and so I didn't. But that's how I consider it. I think Dagny is better representation of asexuality, and I'm hoping to get better about representation, as I keep going along. That's the goal. There's Bestow the Darkness, which has I'm going to say bisexual representation, and also a little bit of polyamory in there. So that's in there, but it's also, there's more in there too. I wanted to have more characters because they're so repressed, they're not going to have the right words for it, they're not going to be talking about it, and so definitely because of the nature of the book, being the nature of the world that they live in, that they can't exactly explore and discuss some of these things, but I think it's totally feasible to believe that some of these characters are like Aveline. I think that she might be attracted to women, but it's really not, I didn't put it explicitly in the text. And then the Seven Fallen Hearts saga, which I definitely think is going to be a total rainbow of all of it. In the first book, we have a lesbian and a non-binary character. And in the next books, and gay. I will say in the first book, Gula is gay, but because of the text, it's not said in there, but you do find out in later books it is definitely confirmed that he is gay. It will be over. There's a lot of... the second book I'm working on now has there is some representation. The main couple is, again, going to be man and a woman, but there's more books coming, so I had a specific way I'm setting things up, but there's definitely going to be a lot of more LGBTQ romances in this series, a lot more. So I'm really excited. I've got a lot of stuff coming there, and I think it's going to be a total rainbow. That's what I want. It's a very, like, the whole thing is I want this happy, sweet, fantasy, fairy tale, romance, rainbow of everything. And so I'm putting in basically a lot of things that I just really love and I really want to see. And so it's really fun, and it's very, got a lot of representation. I have a bunch of other stuff that I'm working on where there's more rep, but until the books come out, I'm not going to talk about it, because even then, sometimes characters can change. I sometimes gender swap characters and things like that, so that would, change some of the dynamics and things like that. But, yeah, so that's where I'm at now. There's also a ton of so many amazing books about, that no, not mine, other people's books that are fantastic representation. I've seen lists everywhere, and I think it's so fantastic now that some people are able to find books that they can really see themselves in and they can relate to, and they can just explore. And even if it's not you, I mean, it's fun to explore stuff that isn't like you too. I don't necessarily have to read every couple in a book is exactly like me, because if I did, we'd just be sitting on the couch with our dogs, and that's, not that interesting of a bunch of books, even though I very much enjoy doing it. So this is just a little video to tell you, what I'm thinking of. And it's been a tough month for a lot of people in a bunch of different ways. I feel like every month is a tough month. And so I just want to again say that I'm hoping that you're all doing well and doing safe, and that there are, no matter how you're feeling about yourself, there's plenty of groups that believe in you and are fighting for you. And it's totally, I don't know, some people are jerks and it is hard sometimes just to be yourself in a world that can be cruel. And so I really respect and admire everyone who does it, especially the younger kids today. They are so much more brave than I feel like we were when we were younger. Sorry, millennials and Gen X maybe. But I'm going to be back next week with another What If Wednesday video. I'm also going to be doing my book release for Tristitia, the second book in the Seven Fallen Hearts. The first book, Virtue, is out now. And I will be doing the book club soon. And this month we are reading Neon Gods by Katie Roberts, and we'll be meeting on June 30th, 2022, because I don't know when you're watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. It really does help me in the algorithms and all of that. And I am looking forward to everything that's coming up soon. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, and happy reading. I look so grumpy. Grump, grump, grump.